I'm going to show you a paragraph from what looks like a National Academy's consensus report. Read it, decide whether you think it came from a real committee or whether AI generated it. I'll wait. Then I'll show you another paragraph. And then I'll tell you what I learned, writing both. The reason this is worth a few minutes of your time is that the answer is uncomfortable. Quick disclosure before we go anywhere. Every paragraph I'm about to show you came from an AI-simulated National Academies committee that I built end-to-end. None of them are from a real National Academies report. The point of this video is that you can't tell. That's the test. Don't quote any of these passages, don't repeat them, don't send them to a journalist or a lawmaker. They are not statements anyone made. Real National Academies consensus reports read a particular way. Findings are tagged, E for empirical consensus, P for plausible inference, C for committee judgment under uncertainty. Recommendations come with owner agencies, funding ranges, and 5-year assessment milestones. Dissents print at equal typographic weight as the consensus text. That's a procedural choice with real weight. Peer review boilerplate up front, named witnesses listed. Owning agencies declared. The genre is what gives the document its political authority. The question this video is asking is whether AI can produce the genre well enough that a trained reader can't tell the difference. Here's the first passage from the findings section. Quote, "The capability of frontier AI systems is advancing faster than the scientific apparatus needed to predict, bound, evaluate, or explain their behavior. This is the central scientific finding of this study. Tagged E for strong empirical consensus. Adopted unanimously." End quote. Take a moment with it. Look at the formatting, the evidence tag, the vote disposition. Decide what you think. Second passage. This one is from the dissent annex. Different voice, written under a different rhetorical convention, because dissents in real consensus reports get their own typographic treatment. Quote, "The aggregate funding total in the consensus text underweights the structural relationship between industry capture and the proposed governance instruments. The committee record should reflect that this dissenting view sees the recommended programs as necessary, but not sufficient, absent a more direct intervention on procurement and platform-level deployment power." End quote. Same source as passage 1. Different voice. That's the test. Both passages are AI generated. Both came from a simulated National Academies committee that I built end-to-end with API calls. The compute bill was about $300. The work took a weekend. The reason I'm telling you this isn't to flex on the technology. The reason I'm telling you this is that the part of the document that gives a NASEM report its political authority, the genre, the format, the typographic discipline, the evidence tags, the dissent treatment, that part is now cheap to produce. Anyone with API access can produce a paragraph that reads like a NASEM finding. That's the structural change. Why is genre cheap now? Because language models are pre-trained on the entire history of consensus document writing. Every NASEM report, every IPCC summary, every clinical guideline, every IEE standard. The genre is encoded in the model weights as a recognizable surface form. And here's the structural problem. The genre used to be tightly coupled to the process that produced it. You couldn't get a NASEM-shaped document without running an actual NASEM-shaped process. The 18 months, the named experts, the public hearings, the external review. That coupling is broken now. The genre is decoupled from the process. Anyone with an API key can produce the form without running the process underneath it. That's the part that should bother you. So, what do you do about it? The fix isn't to slow down generation. That ship has sailed, and slowing one provider just hands the genre to other providers. The fix is to publish the audit recipe alongside the artifact. There are 6 structural checks I'm going to walk through. Each one is a discipline that AI generation skips by default. Take them and apply them to anything that lands on your desk and looks like a consensus document. If the document fails one, you know how to price it, even if you couldn't tell from the genre alone. Check 1. Persona drift. Sample lines from the deliberation transcript. Take a named expert and ask, would this person, on the basis of their published record, plausibly say this? Threshold I use is 80% verbatim style on a sample of 30 lines. Below that, the personas are ventriloquized. They're a single house voice projected through different mouths. Check 2. Sponsor capture. Is the funder relationship disclosed in the main text of the report or buried in a back annex? If it's buried, the report has decided not to wrestle with the conflict. That's a tell. Check 3. Dissent depth. Are the dissents structural, different premises, different priorities, different theories of the case, or are they procedural quibbles dressed up as disagreement? 3 or more split vote recommendations with substantive dissent is the floor for a credible deliberative document. Check 4. Cost sensitivity plus displacement. Funding figures should carry low, central, and high estimates, and they should specify what loses funding when this gets funded. No sensitivity range, no displacement analysis, you have a point estimate dressed up as a recommendation. Check 5. Falsifiability. Each finding should specify the conditions under which it would be revised. What would have to be true in 2032 for this finding to be wrong? If a finding is written as eternal truth, the document is performing certainty rather than describing it. Check 6. Funding translation. Does each recommendation point at a specific federal solicitation, a specific NOFO, a specific BAA, a specific federal vehicle that exists today? Or is it a mood about what should happen? No translation, no operational claim. Take any AI policy document you read this week. Run the matrix. Persona drift. Does the cited expert actually sound like themselves? Sponsor capture. Is the funder in the main text? Dissent depth. Are there real disagreements? Cost sensitivity. What's the displacement? Falsifiability. When would this be revised? Translation. Does it point at something fundable? Most documents will fail at least one. Some will fail several. That doesn't make them worthless. It tells you how to weight them when somebody says you should care about what they say. Reminder: every passage I showed you came from the AI simulation. The audit recipe is portable to any AI-generated long-form artifact you encounter. Not just simulated NASEM reports. Use it. Final disclosure: entirely fictional simulation. AI-generated personas, not the people. Passages constructed to demonstrate genre fidelity. The audit recipe is real and applies to any AI-generated long-form artifact. If you couldn't tell which passage was real, you need the recipe. Subscribe to Sam on AI for more on AI-generated long-form artifacts and the audits that catch them. Both repositories are linked in the description. The simulation at AI-Verus-RND and the open protocol at pact-spec.